Hi everyone. Thank you all for joining today's session. I welcome each one of you to the 10th episode of the Masterclass series 2025. And this will be an Ask Me Anything episode where you can ask all your questions related to the product features. And we have our product experts here to answer all your questions. So, before we get into the session, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Susan, a product expert for ManageEngine ServiceDesk Plus, and I've been with ManageEngine for a couple of years. So, let's look at the different editions of ServiceDesk Plus. ServiceDesk Plus comes in three different editions. The first one being the standard edition, where we have the basic help desk management along with the knowledge base as well as the reporting modules. Then comes our professional edition, where we have the basic help desk management along with the asset management modules. Then our full-fledged enterprise edition, which has all the features of the professional edition, including problem, change, release, as well as project modules. So let's look at the agenda that we have for today's session. In this episode, we'll walk you through features like Zia Parser, AI enhancements in Teams integration, support for OAuth single sign-in, Zia chatbot and ChatGPT integrations, Zoho telephony integration, as well as change approval summary enhancement. To get the most out of your Service Desk Plus instance, we have a free consultation program. So you can scan the QR that is available on the screen to get a 1 hour long live session where you will get a detailed analysis of your Service Desk Plus application to understand your product usage level and also get a personalized list of features and recommendations to address your specific day-to-day ITSM challenges. Now, in this session, we'll be looking into the latest features released for Service Desk Plus in the second half of 2025. So, let's look at the first feature for today's discussion, Zia Parser. So, Zia Parser is an advanced version of email commands that uses natural language processing to act on free flowing text in the emails. So, let's get into our application. And under admin settings, we have a dedicated section for Zia, and let's get into Zia configurations. So Zia is now capable of parsing the free flowing text in the incoming emails, and based on the description given, Zia can perform predictive actions. So let's take a scenario to understand Zia parser better. So let's say a user has raised an incident request reporting network slowness, and you are a technician part of the network team, and this request is assigned to you for analysis. So since there is already a network slowness, you are unable to proceed with remote troubleshooting. So you step away from your desk and you decide to troubleshoot directly over the user's machine. And in the process, you find out that it is not a network slowness, but the entire system is running slow because of insufficient resource allocation. And this needs to be addressed by the hardware team, which we have as a hardware support group. So while you're away from your desk as well as the Service Desk Plus web console, wouldn't it be easier if we have a way through which you can update the support group to the hardware team and add a note consisting of all the troubleshooting done until now? Yes, this can be done by simply sending an email to the configured IT mailbox describing the actions that needs to be performed in the request. So let's see how Zia can parse the content in the email that you send and make predictive actions. So I have a content here, and under Zia parser we have the option configure, and at the bottom we have test Zia parser. So let's give in the content. So I want to update the request ID 234 by adding a note and changing the support group to hardware group. So let's see how Zia is parsing this email content. So Zia has predicted to update the existing request ID 234 by changing the group to hardware support group and also adding a note with the given content. So this is how Zia can parse the content in the incoming emails and make predictive actions. So firstly, for Zia to start working, we need to enable the Zia parser. So we have a toggle button here which needs to be enabled. So once that is done, we can click on configure and we need to define the email subject condition. So only when the subject in the incoming email matches the one that is configured here, Zia will decide to parse that email to perform the predictive actions. So we also have the option to exclude certain fields as well as actions from Zia's predictions. In addition to that, we can also send an acknowledgement email to the sender regarding the predictions that Zia has performed. So that's about our Zia parser. Let's get into our next feature for today's discussion, AI enhancements in Teams integration. So for this, let's first look at the Teams integration page in the application. Let's head to admin and under apps and add-ons, integrations, and under third party, we have Microsoft Teams. So this is the place where we configure Teams integration. So we already have Teams integration through which right from within Teams, users can raise requests, make approval actions, or even search through solutions. So what is the enhancement about powered by AI? So let's look at them one by one. Before that, we need to enable this checkbox to enable the AI features. So let's get into our Teams application. So the first enhancement or the capability that is added to the Teams integration would be solution suggestion. So users can simply type in their query in the text box that is available here and send it to the Teams bot instead of simply using the bot commands. So the bot will first search for existing solutions in your knowledge base, and if there are any matching solutions, the potentially matching solutions will be suggested by the bot to the user. So the user can make use of this solution to troubleshoot and resolve their issue even without logging a request. So the next capability that is added would be bot commands suggestion. So let's say you do not have a published solution for the issue that the user is reporting to the bot. So in that situation, bot will suggest what needs to be done next in the form of bot commands. So since the user is having an issue with their printer and you do not have a published solution regarding the same, our Teams bot is suggesting the user to create a new request. So with the create new request, the user can proceed to create the new request. So the third capability that is added would be ask AI. So let's try creating a new request here by choosing the template, and let's give a subject for the request. Let's say we have an issue with printing a PDF. So here, even before creating a request, the user will have another option, ask AI for solutions. So the user can make use of that option, and ChatGPT will give them the complete troubleshooting steps that they can perform to resolve this issue. So the user can make use of the steps and resolve the issue themselves. So the third capability that is added to our Microsoft Teams bot powered by ChatGPT would be request summarization. So for that, let's first view all the requests. So let's take a scenario where a user from either the HR or the procurement team has raised a request reporting a login issue to the portal which the entire department uses for carrying out their daily work, and none of the users in their department are able to log in right from the morning. So the user has raised a request, and already we have a couple of teams working on the request, and we have around 10 conversations and notes happening in the request, and the users reporting to is now asking about the current status of this request. So at this point, wouldn't it be easier if we could get a quick summary of the entire request? Yes. With the summarize with AI option, the user can get a quick summary of the entire request within seconds. So these are the enhancements that we have brought into our Teams integration, which is powered by ChatGPT. So through this, you can boost your self-service. So let's get into our next feature for today's discussion, which is OAuth single sign-on. So with OAuth single sign-in, you can enhance security and also provide users with seamless single sign-in. So previously, we had the SAML mode of single sign-in already available, and now in addition to that, we have also introduced OAuth single sign-in. So let's get into our application, and under ESM directory, under the general settings, we have our single under the user management, we have our single sign-in configuration page. So if you're using a single instance setup, this page will be available under the admin settings. So firstly, before we configure our single sign-in settings, we need to add an OAuth provider. So we have tested and configured two different providers. One is Azure, Microsoft Azure, and the second one would be Google Workspace. So firstly, we need to create an OAuth provider by fetching the details from the identity provider's app registration. So once that is done, we can get into our single sign-on page, and under OAuth SSO, we have the option to configure single sign-on with OAuth. So here you can choose the provider. Once you create a provider under the OAuth providers, you'll have the list of providers available, and you can choose from the providers and given the additional details by mapping the fields in ServiceDesk Plus with the fields with the attributes in your identity provider, and you can click on add. So once the configuration is done, your users can start using OAuth single sign-in. And say if you're an organization using Microsoft Entra ID, then once your users are logged into their Microsoft account, they can simply click on login with OAuth to directly get into the application without having the need to re-enter their credentials, and also avoiding the need to remember multiple credentials. So let's get into the next feature, Zia chatbot and ChatGPT integration. So to look at this, let's first look at our ChatGPT integrations page. So let's head back to our admin settings. Let's get into our instance, admin settings, and under apps and add-ons, we have integrations, and under third party, we have our ChatGPT integration. So this is the place where we can configure ChatGPT integration. So similar to Teams, we already had ChatGPT integration. So what is the enhancement about? So we have included a few capabilities along with the existing ones in the new release. So we can enable them and save, and let's discuss these features one by one. So for that, I'm going to open our Zia chatbot, and this will be available at the bottom right corner of your screen. So the first capability that is added would be solutions search. So let's say the user is going to search for a solution. So previously, the solution search was based on keywords. So only if the user gives in the right keywords that'll match the one in the published solutions, those solutions will be suggested. However, now this keyword centric search is changed to a contextual search, because not always the user will be using the exact words to describe their issue. So let's say the user has an issue printing their PDF file. So based on the context, Zia will now suggest the available solutions in your solutions module. So that will be the first capability. So the second capability would be solution suggestions. So let's say a user has an issue logging in to their mailbox. So they log into the self-service portal, ServiceDesk Plus, and they find out Zia bot. And under Zia bot, they have an option to raise a new incident. So they describe their issue. So let's say unable to log in. So again here, irrespective of the keywords given, based on the context, Zia will now search through your solutions module, and based on the context, Zia will suggest the available published solutions. So getting into our third capability, it will be template suggestion. So for that, so let's say the user has issues browsing the internet, and let's again raise an issue, and we're going to describe the issue to Zia. And since there are no solutions, published solutions available related to this topic, Zia has suggested the user to either try ChatGPT or create a new request. So let's say the user is creating a new request. So based on the subject that the requester had given, Zia has predicted the template and automatically populated the template. So this will avoid manual effort required by the technicians to change the template and pull the additional details required from the requester. So these are the additional capabilities that is added to Zia powered by ChatGPT. So next comes our Zoho telephony integration. So previously we had telephony integration. So let's get into the ESM directory. And under general setting, we have telephony. So previously we had telephony integration where we had default providers such as Avaya and Asterisk. And if you wanted to integrate with your custom provider, we had to make use of scripts. However, now we have our Zoho telephony, which acts as a phone bridge that can connect to any cloud telephony system with Zoho apps, thereby enabling seamless calling. So let's see how you can integrate Zoho telephony with ServiceDesk Plus. So firstly, you'll have a sign in option here. So when you click on sign in, you'll be redirected to log in to your Zoho account. So once you log in to the Zoho account, you'll be redirected back here, and the user sync will begin to happen. So once the user sync is complete, you will have the list of providers from which you can choose and install a provider for your organization, either for all users or for a specific set of users. So now that we know how to integrate Zoho telephony, let's look at the benefits of this integration. So firstly, we have more than 50 providers from which you can choose your provider and install, either for all the users or even you can install specific providers for different users. So let's say you are an enterprise application who has offices in different geographical locations, and different offices use different telephony providers. So in that case, you can pick different providers for different set of users and you can install it for them. So let's get into our request module where we can see how this integration can help us. So let's take a scenario where there is a critical incident that has been raised, and two different teams who use ServiceDesk Plus, part of the ServiceDesk Plus support groups, are troubleshooting, and they need to collaborate closely to resolve this issue. So in such situations, since both the teams would be using ServiceDesk Plus, the technicians from one team can simply make use of the dial pad that is available here to make calls to the technicians in the other team. So they can dial and initiate a call. So in addition to that, we can also initiate calls to requesters. Let me show that as well. So let's open up a request. And if the requester has a valid phone number, we'll be able to initiate a call by clicking on the phone number. So this is how Zoho telephony integration can enable seamless calling within technicians or even from technicians to requesters. Getting into our last feature for today's discussion, change approval summary enhancement. So let's get into our application and open up a change. So let's head back to the IT instance and let's get into our change module. So let me open up a change and show you the change approval summary. So towards your left side, we have a panel and at the bottom, we'll have approval summary. So we now have a structured layout along with different stages and their approvals neatly organized. So when we click on the drop down, under each stage, we have the approval that has been made. So we have now included the status of the approval and also the approval rule that has been applied. And previously, when there were multiple approvals in the same level, when all the approvers complete their approval, the approval level will be marked as approved by system. So if you wanted to get to know who approved or who are the approvers for this specific stage, we need to get into each of the stage to check that out. So now to avoid that, we have included all the details in a tabulation under the approval summary itself, where we'll get to know the list of approvers, the different approval levels under each stage, along with the approval made time, along with the approval comments. So through this, you can have an entire view of all the approvals that is made within this change right from one single page, which is the approval summary. So with this, we come to the end of today's feature discussion. So the next part would be our Ask Me Anything section, and we have our experts here to answer all your questions. So you can start dropping your questions and our experts will be answering all of them.
All right. I hope everyone can hear me. Thank you, Susan, for a great showcase of the latest enhancements and the latest features that have been released in ServiceDesk Plus. So now we have the AMA session, and we have Haripriya, who is a product expert. She will be answering all your questions. Right. So you can drop your questions in the questions panel. We will be answering them one by one. So we have a couple of questions already. So we'll get started with them. So the first question is I'm having issues. The customer is having issues with setting up the automations that they have set up for their business rules in their incident management, their service management. And essentially, what they're trying to achieve is once an email is received from the user, the ticket automatically grabs the key information and the using the automation, and hence saving the time that the technician spends. And I think they have also added an extra information regarding this. That is that they have created and categorized the priority, etc. So how would they be able to achieve something like this?
Hello, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for having me today. I'm Haripriya, the support lead for the technical support team of ServiceDesk Plus. So, yes, I do see that this question was asked by Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas, just to discuss about this. So, the business rule should be actually applying as per what you have projected. So, when the condition is met, and if it is all going through the proper settings that has been configured within the business rule, it should definitely execute the action. So we have two questions here. One is that we would like to review the business rule to make sure of what settings and what conditions and actions have been configured. The second is we will have to review the actual ticket. So we will need to review the ticket to find out if the condition is met exactly as it is told in the business rule. And if the business rule is applied in the first place, which we can find out with the request history. Now, once the business rule is applied and yet the action is not performed, then that will be troubleshooted differently. So there are a couple of steps that is involved here to actually identify the root cause and then to give you a solution. So I would suggest that in this case, we could go ahead and create a ticket with the support team. So we can have one of the support engineers involved to review the incoming ticket as well as the business rule that is being created, and from this, we should be able to give you the answer, the solution to what you're looking for. So please do write to support@servicedeskplus.com. Let me repeat, the email ID is support@servicedeskplus.com. We will have a ticket created from you and then we will quickly contact you to address this issue.
All right. So I have also dropped the support email ID in the chats. So if anyone would like to reach out, you can reach out to our support team. Meanwhile, we have the next question. So Benjamin is asking if there is a possibility of associating more than one request or a possible change, more than one request or an incident to a single change enablement ticket.
So there is this question from Mr. Fantin, Benjamin Fantin, asking if we could associate multiple requests to a change. The answer is yes. So here is my setup where I have a change, and under associations, you can see that I have associated multiple problems and multiple requests. So you have an option right from under actions. So you can go ahead and click on associate request where the list of tickets will be displayed. So you can apply a filter here, a view, and then based on that, you should be able to associate the request. So this option is present under the submission and the planning stage, and you should be able to see the information here.
We also did have a couple of questions that were asked to us earlier. So we would also answer those for you during the session right now, so that if you have joined the session, you can get them answered as well. So the first question is, what are all the possible actions that can be performed using Zia parser? And in case I would like to add a custom action based on a specific need that my service desk instance has, would that be possible to add the custom action?
Sure, Saket. So yes, you should be able to perform a set of actions using Zia parser, which is again explained in our admin guide over here. So the set of actions that we currently support is about maybe it could be adding a task or a resolution to a request. Right from request creation is what we exactly support in Zia parser. So all you have to do is just like Natalia explained how it can be done. It's a bit more advanced when compared to your email commands. So in email commands, typically I could show you the difference. So you just enter every information within a delimiter. But in a Zia parser, you could be a little more conversational. You can give it in the form of a sentence, like how we draft an email, and then you can explain what action that needs to be performed. So that's exactly what we can do. So here are a set of actions that is already specified here. So right from creating or updating an existing request and up to closure, or picking up or on taking ownership of the request, adding notes, task, or resolution to the request, all these can be done using Zia parser right now. Now, coming to the question of whether a customized action can be done. So, yes, if there is a requirement of so, it needs to be newly worked upon, but there is a possibility to do that because that comes again in the future of what we have for AI in Service Desk Plus. So in the future, we are going to have more options in Zia, that can be done with Zia in ServiceDesk Plus, and we can also discuss about that. So right now, these are the set of actions that can be done, and custom actions. All you have to do is to tell us what that action needs to be. We can find out the possibility and we can see how we can do it with Zia Parser.
So, adding to the previous question that Benjamin had asked regarding the association of different multiple requests or incidents to a change. So, in addition, Benjamin has also asked if it is possible to associate multiple changes to a single request, if that is possible in the application.
Yes, Benjamin, got your question. I understand that a request can be a part of more than one change. So again, when I'm coming to the request tab over here, let me just show you that when it comes to a change, the association is going to be single at one time. So can I understand why it is required to add or associate a request to more than one change? If there is a reason, if there is a requirement in your environment, we can work towards it. We can try to find out the validity of the use case and then we can look for the option to bring that feature. So right now it's one request against one change that we have got. But there are two options here as you can see. One is the change that is initiated due to a request and the other one is a request that is caused due to a change. So there are two types of options in which you can associate the request to each of the changes. So here you can see I have associated this request to a change with the ID 5 and also to the change ID 6. So the change, this request was created because of something that happened on change ID 5 and this ticket is again associated to change ID 6 because the new change was initiated because of this request. So this is a one-way possibility, but associating otherwise to more than one change is not possible at the same time.
All right. We have another question from Varsha. So, Varsha asks that they need to restructure the categories and update them in in historic tickets as well. Uh, in their approximately 4,000 tickets, and they are unable to manually or bulk update those tickets because they because making such a change would change their last updated date, which is a must for their audit purposes. So Vasha is asking if there is an alternative way of achieving this kind of capability.
I understand your situation in this case, Varsha. So there is an audit coming up and you would like to neatly categorize all your requests. Well, what I can say here is that we could first work on arranging your category subcategory item. So the best practice that we say for your category subcategory item is that you have very minimal number of categories because when you look from a user perspective, it wouldn't be easy if the user finds, like say example 50 categories, so he will have to go through the entire list, look for the appropriate category and then have it applied to the ticket. So this is one of the major reasons that the user tend to choose the wrong category in the first place, and that leads to a misclassification of the issue or the requirement that he or she is trying to report. So I'm just giving you a best practice here. Keep your categories minimal, and within the categories, you may add the appropriate subcategories and items. Now, coming back to your question, now that you've already got close to 4,000 tickets for which the classification needs to be done, my suggestion will be that we can have them exported into a report. Yes, and we will need to work on this report and have the correct category, subcategory, and item associated with these particular tickets. And once this work is done within the Excel sheet, we can have it imported back into the application. Now, since you do not want to change your last updated time, what I could suggest is that we can also have that column exported and we can retain the value, the date and time value in this particular sheet and have it re-imported so that your last updated time also does not change. Now, I'm understanding that this is not going to be easy, even if we are going to do an export import option, because even if you export the data, you will have to do some sort of manual work to have it properly updated, to have the category, subcategory, and items properly updated over here. So we will have to do a little bit of checking here as what can be done. I would once again suggest that you write to us, and because we would like to evaluate such scenarios, we would also like to help our other customers who are going through the same situation to help them out in the future. So right now we have got this import export option that I have suggested to you right now, but please do write to support at servicedeskplus.com. We will have your situation gauged. We will look at we will do a health check of your domain to understand the statistics, the load of tickets, and accordingly we will come up with a suitable plan. So if there is any kind of scripting capability which can automate this job, we are trying to look forward to it. So I repeat, it's support at servicedeskplus.com. Please do write an email with your concern. We will look into the scripting capabilities or anything that can be done out of what I've already discussed in this call here.
So we have another question where so we wanted so much wanted to know what are the settings that would be required for the calling function. Um, so we would like to know more about the requirement you have, and we'd have to see what how exactly we can help you out with that. So if you could write to hello@servicedeskplus.com, our uh, team would help you out with the necessary uh, workarounds. Um, so, with regards to our initial question that Thomas had asked, Thomas is also requesting if we could do like a breakout call where he could take us through the setup and maybe explain uh, explain how their current setup is and how they can be helped.
Sure, Thomas, definitely. We are always here to help you out with this. So, all you have to do is to drop an email to support at servicedeskplus.com with your details, contact number, or we can send you out a session link. So, we will join at a scheduled time and you could walk us through your product, your setup. We will review it. And if there are any best practices that we can suggest for you, any features that would help, save time that could automate the entire process, we can walk you through the entire information. So yes, the email ID is support at the rate servicedeskplus.com, which I have just replied to you.
All right. So we'll keep the floor open for a couple more minutes. So if you have any further questions, any feedback, anything, kindly do share it with us. We'll take them up. Yeah. All right. So another common question that we've been getting of late is regarding the features that we can expect in Service Desk Plus, specifically the AI features, because as we all know, we have been adding a lot of new AI capabilities. So, are there any AI capabilities that we can all look forward to for 2026?
Good question, Saket. Definitely, yes. Since AI is the future everywhere, we are also equally concentrating, focusing on developing our AI in a better way. So, just to give you a heads up, we all started with approval prediction with Zia. So when an approver in the past will have to log into Service Desk Plus in order to take an approval action. But now the approver only has to reply to the approval mail in order to, and the Zia can predict the sentiment and do the approval action for the user. Then came the request reopening. Yes, and similarly, so there are a lots of users who would like to just thank the technician and not actually say that there is another issue or the issue has reoccurred. But in those cases, still it was reopening the ticket and the SLA was going under the bus. So there were a lot of problems that was affecting the metrics of the technician. So understanding the need, we also brought in this option of validating the request reopening. So followed by that came the template prediction and the category prediction. And now recently we have introduced the Zia parser, which I'm sure that Netanya has explained brilliantly. Now, what about the future of Zia and what can we expect more? Well, what we are very constantly working to bring in new enhancement. So one thing that I could tell you that should come immediately is about this augmented solution suggestion before the ticket creation. So you're going to see Zia being more interactive and being a conversational bot in the future releases of Service Desk Plus. So you can simply ask a question and you can try to get the solution, which is going to be mostly accurate with the augmented RAG solution suggestion that we have got. And other options that we are going to have in the future is about sentimental analysis. So trying to detect the tone and the sentiment of the customer conversations in real time. And we are going to help with summary generation. We are going to help you with generating the possible resolution and the root cause analysis. And apart from that, very soon we are going to have the proactive problem management. So when there are a couple of tickets with very similar issue raised in a couple of minutes or a particular time duration, Zia will be brilliant enough to understand that there is a kind of an outage situation that is happening and automatically create a problem from it. Other kind of features that we can expect is the field prediction. So just a question was about the wrong categories being assigned to the tickets. Varsha was asking this question. So in the future, this is going to be highly sorted out because we are going to automatically update the category, the template, subcategory item, the priority, and any custom fields. So this is not just about default fields. Even the additional fields are going to be captured, the values are going to be automatically updated in the tickets that are going to be created in the future. And this is also coming with multilingual support. So there are a lot that you're going to expect, you're going to see in regards to Zia and with our Zia bot UI being more customized. So right now, I would like to introduce you to this website, which is ziaagents.servicedeskplus.com. It is a beta website where you can see the features that we are developing, and you can also have a hands-on experience. So you can just try out what they do, and you can just give in some questions, pitch in some questions, and see how Zia is interacting. So I would say that as we are developing this feature, we would like to hear more from you. So let me have this URL pasted over here in the chat section so that everyone can try it out. And apart from that, anything that is going to be released, which is in the validation, the QA validation phase, will be immediately available for the user testing in the beta website of ServiceDesk Plus. So I will also recommend all of you to try this website, beta.servicedeskplus.com, where you can get a hold of the new features that are going to come in ServiceDesk Plus, and then you can send your feedback, your suggestion for improvement to our support team or to hello@servicedeskplus.com.
All right. I see that there are a lot of new features and enhancements that are going to be released specifically for AI, and I genuinely look forward to um, I generally do look forward to the release of all these features and trying it out on my own service desk instance. So I just can't wait any longer. I hope these are released soon. Meanwhile, we have a question from Thomas regarding if it is possible to rename the Zia agent. So I believe this is the Zia chatbot agent, the virtual agent that you're speaking about. So Thomas wants to know if we can rename that Zia agent from their own their requirement and their branding point of view.
Yeah, sure, Thomas. I understand your question. So right now, Zia is a name that is, provided. Zia is actually the AI that is powered by Zoho. So this is our name that we have got right now. But if you would like to have this renamed, let me check with my developers. So we can see using translation or through any kind of paid script, will we be able to have this particular name alone translated? So we can once we can check under the translations option to see if it can be translated. Or if not, we will have to check for some kind of a page script or advanced scripting facilities to have this done. So this is a translations page. So wherever this name comes, Zia pod, it can be modified and then you can have your own name given. So I do see specifically something called as Zia bot here. This might immediately need a restart of the services. So I will not be immediately able to check this and let you know, but you could try it under admin general settings translations. Please give it a try and you will need to restart the services for the changes to take effect. And if it is not working, even after that, please do reach out to us. I think we already are going to have a call scheduled so we can have this also discussed along with it. And you could let us know how it works.
All right. Uh, I think we are at the end of today's masterclass. I would like to thank Susan and Haripriya to for joining us for the session. First of all, going through the showcasing the latest features and enhancements, and also Haripriya for taking the time out to answer the questions and also explain to us what are all the new capabilities that we can expect for Zia in Service Desk Plus. So if you have any further feedback or questions, kindly do reach out to us at hello@servicedeskplus.com. If you have any other feedback, etc., kindly do reach out to let us know. We'd like to hear from you. And so we are signing off for the 2025 season of the masterclass. We will see you back in 2026, and we will reach out to you once we have the next series planned and ready to go. So thank you all for joining today, and we'll see you next year. Have a great holiday and Happy New Year. We have a couple of questions that have already been added, and we also have Ashok Kumar, who will be there to answer all your questions regarding the product. So the first question, Ashok, is that why there are no CI, why there is no CI for the user groups, and if and why there is no way to map a service to a specific user group. So when one creates a new user group, the criteria is slightly limiting, and that they cannot tie specific user groups to a particular service or a service category.
Thank you so much for the session. And my name is Ashok, and I'm a product expert working under the ITSM division at ManageEngine for the last 7+ years. So glad to be a part of this session, and thank you so much, Paul, for raising all these questions. I can see there's like 3 or 4 questions raised by Paul. Or, yeah, there's a new one right now. So thank you so much for being active, and glad to see that you are interested in a lot of the functionalities. Now, to answer the question, yes, definitely. For a long period of time, Service Desk has been having certain limitations with user groups. Right now, we don't have an option to associate a CI with CMDB for user groups in Service Desk Plus. However, this has been flagged internally, and we have raised this as a feature request based on customer requirements. Right now, the criteria that you see under a user group is very limited, maybe based on login name, department, site name, and the actual name of the user, and then just grouping them users into one group. Most commonly used sections are in the templates and in your solutions and all the other areas that you can use within the product. So we definitely have raised this with the product team. There is an existing feature request. Even recently we had a conversation with our team, and this is definitely in our pipeline for the next year. So if you can write out to us with the exact scenario based on which you'd like to associate a user groups to CI, which in turn has to be reflected in your CMDB. Yes, definitely we can think of any scripting possibilities to see if we can pull off that data. But through the user interface, right now, yes, we don't have an option, and the user criterias are going to be enhanced and modified as well.
All right. Uh, the next question is regarding the request life cycle or regarding the upcoming workflows. So The question is that in the I think this is more like a feedback that is that we have. So in the request lifecycle or the upcoming workflows, if one has many steps that if you have many steps that need to be included, and there are multiple statuses for each of them. These are not generally visible outside the specific workflow, and they sort of do not bring much benefit for their organization.
Uh, Thank you so much, Paul, once again. So, the primary objective of request lifecycle management is to have a streamlined process internally where your engineers do not deviate from the process that you have developed for them. So for a long period of time, request lifecycle is dependent on the status that you create inside the application. So it is a status based transition that happens in the request lifecycle feature. So if the process is a bit complex, we can maybe sit and discuss and see how best we can reduce the number of statuses that you can have within a single lifecycle model. But just to give you some insights on what we are building in, just like what you have put together, we have an upcoming lifecycle, which is a workflow feature for the request management section where you can design the workflow according to your organization. So we are expecting it to be released most likely by this year or at least by the start of next year. Once you have the request workflow feature, it's going to be easy for you to designate those teams internally inside the organization. So you don't have to build in multiple life cycles anymore. You can have just one flow based on different conditions and switches that you can build in those flows. You don't have to be dependent on a lot of scripts. You don't have to be dependent on a lot of functions for approvals and dynamic scenarios. So this problem that you have raised can definitely be addressed in the workflow feature that we are building in. But as of right now, yes, request lifecycle is a status based transition that happens inside a request, and we can also restrict the statuses that are visible to a technician with the help of field and form rules, or we can also restrict it with the help of business rules. So maybe if you can give us your requirement with your plan, with your action plan, we can discuss and see how best we can implement your feature.
All right. There's one really interesting question that I saw. Um, so is there a way to see what the users are searching in the self-service portal? And for example, they're suggesting that in other ITSM tools, one can pull reports of what exactly the users have been searching in the self-service portal. I think this is more like a feedback for the service desk itself and maybe the SD admins, so that they can probably work on that feedback and deliver their IT services and other enterprise services better.
Uh, Yeah, that's actually a good requirement, and we also have seen other customers raise similar requirements to see what the users are searching for. Right now, we don't store this information explicitly in the database, so it's stored in a JSON format. So we can look and see if we can build in reports based on what end users search. But searching out and filtering out each and every information is a bit of a challenge because the data is stored in a JSON format in the backend. So we can check for the possibility, but yes, we can take this as a feedback and discuss with our product team. We right now don't have an option to search the information that end users are looking for in the self-service portal from an admin perspective.
All right. We have another interesting question actually. So the question is, what are the major differences between Service Desk Plus on premises and Service Desk Plus cloud?
Our biggest objective is to ensure that our customers do not raise this question in the first place because we strive towards building both the systems in a similar manner. So, right now, Apart from all the other backend management that you normally have with on-prem and cloud, I think majority of the functionalities that are there in on-prem that is there in cloud is covered in the other solution. So starting with the modules, all of the modules that you see inside the on-prem edition is available in the cloud edition, and in the cloud edition the same thing applies over there as well. There are specific changes when it comes to asset management, maybe custom functions that you manage within the system, because in an on-prem solution, when you execute a custom script, let's say it's a PowerShell script or a Python script, you can execute it within your application server itself. But if it's a cloud solution, then that's where the difference starts, because we are going to be managing the servers. So there are some intrinsic differences between the two systems. Functionalities wise, what you see from an underlying perspective, both service desk on-prem and the cloud solution are the same. Asset management, slightly there's a difference because we have the agent for Endpoint Central application, whereas for the cloud solution, Endpoint Central agent has just been released, so it's available in the beta version and it's released for our customers right now. So for a long time, that was one big difference, but now that has been bridged as well. Apart from that, all the other modules are the same, and functionality wise, the underlying features would be present on both the solutions. So it's a matter of preference. So we try to keep both of those solutions having similar features without much differences. That is our objective as well.
All right. The next question is again from Paul. Is there a way to easily get a report, I think, regarding the additional fields and the resources that are being used in their organization? I think this is by resources, they mean, I think, the resource questions, if I'm not wrong.
Thank you, Paul. Again, yes, definitely. We have a built-in query. It's a customized query that we can write to get the additional field usage information. It's already present. We have it as a knowledge base. So based on the database, if it's Postgres or SQL, we can give you the query, and you'll get the additional field information, resource catalog, resource question information. The next objective that we are working towards is building all these admin based reports within the reporting section of the product. Right now, these are just queries that you'll have to run in the query report section or in the database level. But very soon, you'll be having lots of admin based reports, especially additional fields, which is one common feature that we normally get from our customers. As of right now, yes, we have an option to get the list of additional fields, identify where it's being used in request or in any other modules that you want of your choice.
Thanks, Ashok. So going into the next question. So this is again another interesting question that has been put forth. So they want to know what is the difference between using the Zia prediction or the Zia bot with the ChatGPT integrations and without the ChatGPT integration.
Okay, so with the Chat GPT integration, one advantage that you get is with some extra functionalities that Chat GPT can do, it can definitely search out on the internet, just like what Natanya was presenting in this session. So even if there isn't, like, for example, when a user is searching for a solution, right now, if you do not have a Chat GPT integration, ZiaBot is going to search for the knowledge base inside ServiceDesk Plus application. If there is a match in a keyword, if there is a match, for example, printer, unable to print PDF was an example that we took in this session. Let's say you have a keyword called printer or print, for example, in a printer based knowledge base. What Zia is going to do in this case without a ChatGPT integration is pull that article and present it to the user. But actually, the problem is going to be with just PDFs. So users are not able to print PDFs in their laptops or desktops. So ChatGPT can search that maybe prompt some more questions as to what is the document extension that you're trying to print, does it work in other formats, and then it's going to search the internet and give you a solution. So that's one big difference that you have when it comes to ZR prediction with ChatGPT and without ChatGPT. When it's without, it's going to look inside the system and also the historical data. When it's with ChatGPT, it's going to look for all the data that's available inside and outside.
Thank you, Ashok. So next question is regarding the resources tab. So Nick says that he's having some difficulty in using the resources tab, and they wants to know, or basically wants to be able to see which particular resource, as in which particular technician is working on which particular ticket, and at what particular, like what basically is their workload. And they also want, they're thinking about how they might be able to use this to plan their probably their major projects that their IT team, or IT service desk would be undertaking at a certain point.
Thank you, Nick, for the question. So, primarily, the resources tab that you have within the application focuses on the pending tasks that an engineer or a technician is going to have in their name. So, task, as you know, is present across all the modules, starting with request, and you have tasks in projects, you have task and change, you have task and release. So, resource management primarily is available in two sections. One is under the homepage where you get it for the request management, and inside the projects you have another resource management which gives you the details of the task and the engineer that's working on the task at the moment. So when you click on those resources, those tasks that you're just referring to, it just gives you a glimpse of what's the scheduled start of the task, what's the scheduled end of the task, and how behind is the engineer working on the task, or if a certain engineer is overloaded with lots of tasks on a day-to-day basis, you'll be able to get a data from the resources tab to see the list of tasks, the number of tasks that an engineer has to complete on a specific day or a specific time, or if they have two or three simultaneous tasks that they'll have to complete, you can balance the load between other engineers. So that's the main objective behind the resource management, to manage the load of your technicians and engineers working inside the system. So that's how it is being used. And within projects, yes, we have a resource management section where you can track the progress of a task, and to see the owner maybe have some communication. We have comment section where you can tag the owner and ask for some inputs, check for some data, or you can tag them and say why is it being delayed, why is it not completed, or if it's all good, you can just appreciate the team. So all those conversation exchange can just take place when you hover your data through the resource management section.
Thanks, Ashok. We have the next question. So, um, Christian wants to know, is there a benefit in having a Chat GPT account with a purchased plan that is integrated with their service desk, instead of using just their free Chat GPT account?
Actually, I wouldn't recommend using a free ChatGPT account because all of those end user tasks, all of those technician tasks that is going through the operation, ChatGPT allows you very limited usage of their free version of the system. So when you're going to use it for free, maybe you can use it for your beta versions of the service desk application, where you're going to test how the functionalities are going to work. When it's production, when you're going to use that in your live environment, I would recommend you to go for the purchased version of the ChatGPT integration, because based on the organization's usage, the size of the users, it's better to go with the paid version, because end users as well as technicians are going to be stuck at a place where ChatGPT will be exhausted within few functions that you ask, and then you'll have to get up a license. So it's recommended to go for the paid version of ChatGPT.
Thanks, Ashok. So next question is regarding a super admin account. So the question is, would it be possible in the future to have a super admin account that is not linked to a technician?
Thank you for that question. Actually, this is a common feedback that we often get from our customers who are using enterprise service management, where you have multiple portals, and for each of these portals, you might have dedicated technicians. But then outside of that portal, you can have a super admin who can manage the system. This is already in talks. So our product team is already discussing it internally to see how best we can handle this. Yes, right now for each and every instance, you'll have to purchase a license. You'll have to have an admin license so that you can make use of the system, have complete control as an admin. But in future, yes, we'll be definitely introducing a super admin license where you can apply that license, which is going to allow you to access multiple instances with just one technician license. We don't have an ETA for that feature. I cannot get you an ETA. It's at very early stages, but we can expect some changes around it.
Thanks, Ashok. So next question is regarding the UI interface of Service Desk Plus. So the question is, do we have any plans for UI or UX improvements in the future for Service Desk Plus?
Yes, for the on-prem version as well as for the cloud, yes, focus is on UI, but our immediate changes is going to happen with the on-prem solutions. Very recently, we had revamped the asset management section. Asset management user interface, CMDB user interface was revamped in the version 15.100, but we do take up our customer feedbacks seriously when it comes to user management and UI experience. So yes, in the next year we can expect a lot of user interface changes when it comes to both the versions of the application. But particularly, we have been receiving lots of requirements from our customers in the on-prem solution to change the UI. Yes, that is in plan. Already, the changes are happening in the backend. If you have any feedbacks, we'll be happy to take that as well, Christian.
Yeah. So also, if anyone has feedback or questions after today's masterclass, you can always write to us at hello@servicedeskplus.com, and then we'll be happy to reach out to you and get more information regarding the requirements. Moving on to the next question. So Paul asks if we have any plans for an integration with Microsoft Copilot.
Thanks once again, Paul. We actually have a Copilot integration already inside the system with the Service Desk application. I've sent you the documentation link in the other chat. So, yes, Service Desk is already compatible with Microsoft Copilot. We were able to achieve some of the use cases through this. If you have any customized requirements, we can also sit and discuss with our teams. So, it's already there, it's an existing feature. Thanks once again for raising lots of questions, Paul.
All right. So we have a couple of questions in the chat as well. So
Sure.
Narasimhan has asked, it has basically shared, their feedback regarding an issue that they face with the business rules in the 14990 version, and they are also asking us if there is which version of the 15 series is the most stable version that they can probably update and start using.
Extremely sorry for the inconvenience that you had to go through with the version 14.9, Narasimhan. If you have any issues with the business rules, I hope that you have already reported this with our support team. In case if you'd like to have a solution, a fix, we can see if we can fix that in your version right now, like providing you with a custom fix, because I can understand, because business rules are going to be your request filtering process. So if there is a problem with your business rules, all of the request assignment, request updates, request creation, all of those processes are going to be stuck. So if you need a custom fix for the solution, in case if we have confirmed that it's a known issue with the product, we can provide you with a temporary solution in the application. As far as stable version in application version number 15, we have released 15.150 just few days back. So load testing is happening on that specific version. So in a week or two, we should arrive at a stable build. So I'm thinking that 15.150 is going to be the next stable version. So in a week or two, you should have an answer on it. So that's the main goal. And in version 15, you have the big CMDB revamp. If you are in favor of using CMDB, 15.1 is something that you'll love, because now with CMDB you can manipulate the data. You don't have to manage your assets and CMDBs together. You can separate it out. So based on customer use cases, we have revamped the CMDB functionalities, not just for internal management, but let's say you're posting your data from other application. CMDB now has the capability to process and manage the data that is being fed into the system. Previously, it was just like a database. You post some data, it's going to collect and manage the information. But now we have some filtering rules and conditions that you can go through. So just giving you some insights on the version 15 for everyone. But yeah, we are waiting for a few more weeks for the stable versions to arrive.
All right. So we have another question in the chat. The question is basically uh, as to when the workflows would be available for the incident management and the service request management modules. Like, I think they're asking regarding the ETA for these features.
Thank you, Osama. So, just like what Paul has said, yes, the objective is to release that by this year, which I believe hardly has another 40 or 45 days left. So, we are expecting it this year. If not, we should be seeing those features in Jan or Feb. So, by first quarter of next year, let's keep it that way. But it should be released very soon. We just had a meeting last week. So, the demo is complete. We are testing it internally. Our team is testing it. So, you should have an update very soon.
All right. I think even I'm now slightly excited about the workflows coming for the service requests and incident management as well. So I would eagerly be looking out for these features as well. Uh, Meanwhile, we have another question from Osama. So if the approver is a department role, could I choose a specific department from the list of departments?
Yes, Osama, we can handle this in two ways. Just like what Paul has said, using custom function for approvals would easily achieve that requirement. But let's say you have a complex scenario, or let's say you have some tedious processes where you have lots of departments that you'll have to manage internally inside the product. You can manage that through organization roles, but I'm just giving you an insight on custom modules. So now we have custom modules, which is a feature that you already have within the product. A lot of our customers who have been requesting for approval custom functions have moved over to custom module, because through custom module, you can manage the list of departments. You can map that information with a certain department approver, and you'll get a user interface where you can track all this information, and you can allow someone to manage this data. It's not just the responsibility of an administrator to manage it. Custom module is something that you can allow an end user to manage as well. So through this way, you can create a separate module where you can store some information. Consider custom module as a database. You can store information in custom module, and then custom module can post data into your request management. In this case, departments and its approvers are going to be maintained in custom module instead of organization roles. With the help of APIs and scripting based on the request that is being created, if you would like to have a condition, based on conditions, we can pull the data and send an approval through custom module information. That's just one recommendation that I have. In case if you're interested in this, feel free to reach out to us and we can show you a demo of how it'll work in your environment.
Thank you, Ashok. We have another question in the questions tab. So Vladislav is asking, Why has searching by application number stopped working in the global search tab?
Why has searching by application number stopped working in the global search? When you say application number, Vladislav, is it the request ID number? Uh, which application number are you referring to? Could you add some insights into it? If it's a ticket number, then if you're trying to search based on the ticket ID, it could be an issue. If there is a global search, we'll have to understand and see why it's not giving you the result by looking at the logs. But are you trying to search the ticket number in your product in global search and it's not giving you the results? If that's the case, try doing another search, and you have an option called community tab within the application. Head over to the community section and generate a support file which will create a diagnostic report of all the information inside your system. If you can share us that data, we'll see the keywords that you have searched in the logs and find out why you're not getting the expected results.
All right. Thanks, Ashok. We will have the floor open for a couple more minutes. Meanwhile, I've also dropped in the support email ID in the chat, so you can always feel free to reach out to support at servicedeskplus.com or to hello at servicedeskplus.com. Both ways we'll be able to help you out. So
Yes,
we'll keep the
definitely.
floor. Yeah. So we'll keep
Yeah.
the floor open for a couple more minutes, so you can feel free to add your questions, and Ashok will answer them for you. So we have our first question, Santosh. So the question is, I'm a technician, and I would like to know how as a technician one can close the incoming tickets.
Good morning, everyone. Myself Santosh here, and I hope everyone can hear my voice. Okay, so we'll answer one question after the other. For the first one, as a technician, you will have the ability to close tickets using different options. Either I can close a request when I'm logged into the web portal from the browser side, or I can perform actions like closing a request from the mobile application. Let's say I have Service Desk Plus application on the mobile app installed. I can perform an action directly from there. I can update the request or close a request directly from Teams. I can close a request using Outlook add-ins. So we have different options with which I can perform update and close actions as a technician. I hope that answers. In case if you still need some assistance, please let me know.
All right. Meanwhile, we will also go into the next question that we have received. So the question is the Zia parser Teams integration view different for a technician and a user? I think what they mean here is the Teams integration view different for the technician's point of view and the end user's point of view.
That is, of course, right. So the Zia parser and the Teams configuration that the presenter showed during this session, it's all admin level configurations. So as an administrator of the application, you get to choose what kind of contents are supposed to be read by Zia parser, transitioned and updated within the tickets. Similarly, with Teams integrations as well, and using chat GPTs and AI enhancements within Teams, those are configurations that I do as an administrator. And from an user standpoint and technician standpoint, the view would be different. For the users, they will have multiple actions that they can perform from Teams, and the technicians as well. So let's say I'm a user, I can perform actions like creating requests, and if I've raised any request, I can use view all requests to see list of requests that are currently pending. If I wanted to see any approvals that are currently pending as a technician, I can see my pending approvals. And if I'm using multiple instances, let's say my installation has different instance, one for IT, one for HR, one for facilities, etc. I can switch between instances and perform actions. So the view that the technician has to that of a requester is going to be slightly different. And of course, the actions as well. The actions, what users should have, what technicians should have, will be configured by the administrators in the application.
All right. We have a next question, and uh, this sounds very interesting, and even I'm intrigued to know this. So the question is, could one configure recorded messages of their computer telephony to categorize the tickets based on the number which the requester or the end user chooses during the phone call?
Soma, that's a really good question and an excellent enhancement that we can consider in the application. But right now, at this point in time, we don't have an option to categorize the tickets based on conditions, but that is something we are already working on. Maybe if we have any specific static conditions, let's say if the user always chooses one, it should be routed to specific groups or etc. Anything as such, we can try to accomplish it using custom scripts, but we will have to check that feasibility. If the condition is going to be static, then yes, we can check and try if that is possible using custom scripts, but that's a really good enhancement, and we are already working on a similar one in the application.
All right. Um, uh, so we'll also, urge you to add any further queries that you have regarding Service Desk Plus in general, not just limited to the features that we, went through in today's masterclass, but also in general regarding Service Desk Plus, the application, any of the integrations that you're using, and so on. You can feel free to add them in, right? Um, Meanwhile, we also have another question. So, is there an option to consider updating the request as based on the first response that is received?
Sure. So the first response is going to be used for calculating my response times re- within SLA configurations and OLA configurations. We have options like updating notes. Whenever there is a first response received, we have an option called as adding note and considering that note as a first response. We also have options like when user responds with a specific content, or if the email comes from the requester or the technician, any condition for that matter, we can consider that as a first response in the application. So that's purely based on different environments have different needs. We have certain environments that wanted to add it as a note and consider that as a first response. We have certain environments where when a request moves to a specific status, I want that to be considered as first response. Or when I perform a specific action within the request, let's say like updating categories or anything as such, we want that to be considered as first response. So we have requirements from different environments that varies from one another, and yes, this can be accomplished in the application.
Thanks, Santosh. Yeah, so we urge you to add your questions in the questions tab. Meanwhile, we do have a couple of questions that were asked us, on the run to this masterclass. So we'll go through those questions as well. Um, so one of the first questions that was asked was in regards to the parser feature, right? So the first part of the question is that what are all the different actions that Zia parser can perform, right? And to add to that, the more customized, the more personalized question was that can an organization add custom actions that are based on their own service desk needs in the Zia parser feature?
Sure, Sagar, that's a good one. And to answer your question, I'll have it as two different half. First half is yes, Zia Parser can perform different actions like creating requests, updating an existing ticket, editing the existing request. Let's say a request is already created. I want to update certain field values. I can update those field values. Or if I have to pick up a request, I can pick up a request. If I have to share a request to a different user who doesn't have permissions to view that request, I can perform such actions. I can add a resolution or a solution to a request. I can update notes in the request. And if I also have abilities to setting up tasks to specific technicians, adding predefined work logs, I can set up reminders for requests. So these are different actions that I can do with Zia Parser. And second half, yes, we can create custom actions too based on environment needs. Now we have different environments coming up with different requirements after introduction of Zia Parser. Now, in the earlier versions, when we did not have this capability, let's say I have a third-party application that monitors my network or keeps track of critical servers, people used to depend on APIs for both service desk and the third-party application to communicate. Now, if there is a change in the header value, if there is a change in the API structure, anything that we do in any one of these applications, a developer basically has to be involved and they will have to update that API call on the whole for these two applications to communicate. But now with Zia Parser, even with a simple email command that comes from that third party application, let's say critical servers, RAM utilization has gone high, or a specific network path is not accessible, or a network is down, automatically the third party application, my monitoring solutions or network monitoring solutions, they can just send an email, trigger an alarm. That alarm can be an email. Based on the content from that email, I can create a critical request in the application, assign that request to a specific group, have email notifications sent out to specific set of users as soon as the network goes down. And I can perform such actions based on the email content that comes up. Like if it is related to one specific critical server, I can have those information captured. If it is something related to a network path, I can have those information captured. So Zia Parser has made the life easier when it comes to communicating even external applications. I hope that answers.
Thanks, Santosh. Moving on to the next question. So this was, I think, sort of the highlight of all the questions that I had seen. So including today's masterclass, we saw the different AI features that have been released in ServiceDesk Plus, be the Chat GPT integration or the Teams enhancements with the request summarization and the other features as well. Well, at the same time, we were also asked if what are some of the features, AI features that we can all expect for the upcoming year in 2026.
Got it. So AI is becoming the talk of the town now in recent times, and we are already working on generative, conversational, and predictive AI capabilities. And the primary focus at this point is to have these capabilities with our native Zia AI assistant that comes with the application. And users can also choose to either use the native Zia LLM or integrate with public LLMs like ChatGPT or Azure OpenAI. So we are already working on these capabilities with the application, and we also have few workarounds available with embedding custom widgets to make conversational bots, to embed ChatGPT within Teams, etc. We have different options available right now, but we are also trying to enhance it and have public LLM capabilities within the application itself.
All right. I also look forward to in utilizing these for my service desk instance as well, and try these out as and when they are released. So I'd say, I request all of you to have your eyes peeled out. We'd have these being released throughout the next year. So moving on, we saw the Teams integration, right? And we saw the AI features and the capabilities and the enhancements that have been brought to it. But a more, preliminary question that, people usually do ask is the integration, free of cost, or does it come as a paid add-on? How does one go about the Teams integration?
Got it. So the integration capabilities that we see in the application, it's not an add-on, it's a built-in functionality. It will be available as part of your edition in Service Desk Plus. So it's not an add-on.
Okay. We also have another question in the questions panel. So Clayton is asking that they have multiple tiers of technicians using the same queue, and they're utilizing the same group levels. Clayton wants to know if there is a way to automate that when a request, a ticket is created, and can that be done using the categories or subcategories?
Sure, Clayton, that is possible. So, like you said, in most environments, we see a similar configuration. But of course, our different teams are going to be experts in handling certain specific incidents and certain specific services. So, what we generally do is we use business rules and field informed rules as our primary approach to have those tickets routed to specific queues, specific groups, and specific technicians based on the options that are selected in a request. So if I choose my category as desktop hardware, it can be routed to a specific queue. If I choose my subcategory as, let's say, network outage, anything as such, I can have those tickets routed to a completely different queue, assign it to specific technician if required, trigger a set of tasks if required, and send out custom notifications too.
So, Santosh, is there a way for a specific task to be automatically closed? So, Sarah says that they have some forms that the first task that needs to be automatically closed or just removed altogether. So, they want to know if there is, any any way that they can achieve such a capability.
Sure. So we have both the options. One is either I can close the task automatically once the ticket is created or once a request is approved, or we can also trigger the task dynamically based on the request properties. Now, let's say when you take an onboarding process based on the type of employee, be it a contractor or an existing employee or anything as such. Based on the type of employee, I can trigger a set of tasks and have certain tasks triggered only when it's a contractor, only when it's an employee. Similarly, for incidents as well, based on the type of issue the user is trying to report, I can trigger set of tasks as part of the request. So we have both options, Sarah. If you want to have the task executed and closed automatically, we can do that using custom triggers. Or if you would just like to trigger the task dynamically based on the type of issue reported or based on the type of service the user is requesting for, that can be done with the help of field and form rules in the application.
All right. So the next question is regarding the Teams integration. Um, the question is, regarding if the Teams integration does support the Spanish language as well.
Yes, the integration basically inherits the language settings from your Microsoft Teams account. To ensure the integration displays and functions correctly in Spanish, we just have to make sure your Teams client is also set to Spanish. So, to answer your question, yes, it is available.
All right. The next question is from Dane. So, first of all, good afternoon, Dane. And Dane wanted to know how they requested us to repeat how to get the Zia parser and basically use that to create and categorize the incoming emails into the tickets.
So Jane, Zia Pasa is going to be available for you from version 14900, sorry, 1500 and above. So if your application is already on 1500 and anything above, you can make use of Zia Pasa. And we also use Zia Pasa for performing different actions like creating requests, updating requests, picking up requests, sharing the requests, addition of notes, adding resolutions, triggering tasks, etc. We perform multiple actions using Zia Parser. And if you would like to have a personalized demo on Zia Parser, its capabilities, or if you have some use cases, we can discuss those options as well. We can set up a personal demo to you and your team if required. All you have to do is just send an email to support@servicedeskplus.com and we'll be more than happy to schedule a demo and provide you a full-fledged capability descriptions as well, and show you how each of those actions will be executed based on different contents that come through email with the help of Zia Parser.
All right. So we have the next question where Sarah is requesting us to basically and also asking us how their organization can start using the custom triggers feature in Service Desk Plus.
Okay. So with custom triggers, we basically go with two different actionable items, Sarah. One is sending out custom notifications based on a condition. So you have set of default notifications that go from the application. Let's say when a request gets created, an acknowledgement goes to the end user. And once the ticket is assigned to a specific group or technician, those group members receive notifications, the technicians receive notifications. In addition to that, if I wanted to send a custom notification based on a condition, we make use of custom triggers. And the other actionable item that we most commonly use is executing script related activities. Now, let's say I wanted some approvals to be triggered dynamically for an incident request that comes into the application, or I want set of tasks to be executed dynamically based on who the approver is or based on which department the request comes from. So only in those cases we make use of custom triggers. But I would say the dependency on custom triggers on most of the environments is much less in recent days when compared to how it used to be like 4 to 5 years back. Reason being, most of the capabilities that we used to depend on scripting in those days, it's all been included as enhancements in the application itself. So most of the requirements, we try to meet it using field and form rules, business rules, request timer actions, etc. So the need for custom trigger has reduced, but the most common use cases would be either executing a script or sending a custom notification. Those are the two cases in which it's primarily used in recent times. And maybe if you have some use cases or you have some requirements that has to be implemented, just let us know. We can guide you how that can be done in the application. In case it requires some scripting assistance, we'll be able to provide you a script, help you configure that script as well using custom trigger.
Thank you, Santosh. We also earlier had a couple of our customers reach out and ask us questions. So we'll also be answering that as well. So the first question, and I think one of the most interesting question that I had come across was, what are some of the AI features that we can expect for the upcoming year? We have seen a lot of new enhancements, new features that have been released for this year. But I would also like to know what exactly are some of the features that are in the pipeline and something that we can expect for 2026.
Got it. So the AI features that we currently work on is gonna be concentrated more for both end users and technicians. For end users, we are trying to make bot actions and AI capabilities as conversational as possible. Let's say a user comes up, they ask for certain solutions, they ask for status updates on requests, they wanted to escalate cases, etc. So we wanted to make those conversations with the bot as user friendly as possible and come up with different actionable items for options that they choose. Likewise, for the technicians, we are going to be working on AI assistant towards predictive analysis. So when an incident comes up, based on information provided, instead of starting everything from scratch, AI can give you possible solutions. AI can come up with suggestions which can help the technician to narrow down the root cause in case I'm handling something new, something that I'm not aware of. So the most concentrated section for 2026 would be conversational and predictive AI capabilities for both end users and technicians. And we are primarily focusing it to be on the native Zia AI assistants, but Users can also choose to use other LLMs, public LLMs like ChatGPT and Azure OpenAI, which will be incorporated within the application. We already have ChatGPT integrations available. We'll also be bringing in OpenAI, and the sections that we cover would also be increased. As of now, the limitations, we have ChatGPT limited for certain modules. We are trying to enhance it so it becomes more easy predictive analysis for other modules as well, be it changes, usage and asset management, etc.
All right. Thanks for sharing the information on the upcoming AI features. Because now, once you have mentioned these points, I am actually also excited to try them out as and when they are released. So I would also request everyone to keep an eye out for our release notes. So we do keep updating as and when there are latest releases for the features, enhancements, etc. So you can always check them out as well. Meanwhile, um, we have a couple of other questions that also were asked and shared with us. So we saw how end users, technicians can use the Teams integration, right, and the AI capabilities that have been enabled now in the Teams interface. But before that, a more preliminary question is, how can an organization enable the integration, and is the integration free of cost, is it a paid add-on? And so that is a question that a couple of our customers did ask us.
Got it. So with Teams, it's not a paid add-on. It's a bundled integration that comes with the application. All we have is one prerequisite. That is, the application should be either hosted in internet or I need to use an Azure proxy. So in any which ways, as long as I'm able to access it outside my network with a valid SSL certificate, that should be more than enough. That's the only prerequisite we look out for when it comes to Teams integration. And that's not an add-on, that's a bundled integration that comes with the application. You don't have to pay anything additional to enable that capability.
All right. Thanks, Santosh. Um, Moving on. So we all use WhatsApp for our regular communications, right? And in many organizations, customers do use WhatsApp for some part of their communication. So one of the major questions we also do receive is, can one create tickets or perform any ticket-based actions by integrating Service Desk Plus with WhatsApp?
Yes, we can. So we offer different default bot commands within WhatsApp that we can utilize, or we can also create custom bot commands based on user preference. So the default bot commands that we offer within WhatsApp are going to be used for creating a request. Let's say on the go from my mobile, I wanted to create a request from WhatsApp. I don't have to log into the portal. I don't have to log into the web application. Instead, I'll be able to do it from WhatsApp directly. You can see all your pending approvals on the go. Let's say I'm a service request approver or an approver or a department head or manager level, C level operators. They can view all their pending approvals on the go and perform actions. If I wanted to see all my pending requests, I can see those pending requests. If my organization is using ESM with multi-department model, I can switch between instances and create tickets accordingly. And if I have some tickets created, requests created already as an end user, and those tickets are assigned to a technician, I can also initiate chat from WhatsApp to those technicians to check the status of my cases. These are default bot commands that comes with the application. In addition to that, if you want to create custom bot commands for different actions, we can also do that, like picking up of request. I want some request to be assigned, etc. We have created such custom commands too in WhatsApp for few other environments based on their needs.
All right. Thanks, Santosh. Also, we have another question from Corey in the questions tab. So, Corey is asking if we already have SAML single sign-on set up with the Azure application. Uh, is it necessary, or should they move the integration to the new OAuth single sign-on setting?
Yes, Corey, we will have to move it since you already have the SAML SSO set up on your Azure end. Post upgrade, after you reach the latest version, you will have to move to the new OAuth SSO. It's not just a capability, it's adding an additional security layer from the application side as well. So it is recommended to move to the new OAuth SSO post upgrade.
Thanks, Santosh.
I see one more question there, the same follow-up question from Corey. Corey, you can use the same Azure Enterprise application. You don't have to create a new one. We can make use of the existing enterprise registration that you already have in Azure.
Thank you, Santosh, for answering all the queries. And we have the support portal using which you can reach out to us. And also, we have provided the admin guide link, which is nothing but the help document by which you can go through the provided features, enhancements, and also the configurations related to the application. And we have the step by step processes listed there. And also, we have provided the link for the release notes where you will be able to find the being processed in each and every upgrade. And if you would like to view the masterclass or any videos related to the application, you can head to YouTube by clicking on the link and you will be able to view them there. You can also raise requests or view certain request details or knowledge base articles within the community tab that we have provided. And if you have any further queries or if you would like to share any feedback or review regarding this session, you can drop an email to hello@servicedeskplus.com.
All right. So we are at the end of today's masterclass. But before we conclude for this year's masterclass, I would also like to again thank Teja for showcasing the features and taking us through each of the capabilities and enhancements, and sharing the different use cases that would be relevant in terms of our IT help desk, IT service desk operations. I would also like to thank Santosh Srinath for joining us for today's masterclass and taking the time out to patiently answer all the queries. I hope it was really helpful. Um, so this is the last masterclass for the 2025 masterclass series. So we will again see you all back in 2026 for the new masterclass series that we would start from the next year. Until then, signing off from the Service Desk Plus team. Thank you. Have a great holiday season and have a great new year.